Okay.
Brand.
So Russel Brand released a video on his Twitter page a couple days ago, basically right before this Russel Brand fallout with the media. There's all these different articles coming out about stuff that happened about 11 years ago. And I have his video, and I think to really just set the stage, I'm going to play it for everybody. It's about 2 minutes long. It's just him basically giving his I don't know, side of it before it hits the fan. And boy, has the shit hit
Yeah,
the
it was
fan.
from Sunday. Yeah,
so here it is. Let's I'm gonna play this for you guys.
There you Awakening Wonders. Now, this isn't the usual type of video we make on this channel where we critique, attack, and undermine the news in all its corruption, because in this story, I am the news. I've received 2 extremely disturbing letters, or a letter and an email, one from a mainstream media TV company, one from a newspaper, listing a litany of extremely egregious and aggressive attacks, as well as some pretty stupid stuff like my community festival should be stopped, that I shouldn't be able to attack mainstream media narratives on this channel. But amidst this litany of astonishing, rather baroque attacks are some very serious allegations that I absolutely refute. These allegations pertain to the time when I was working in the mainstream, when I was in the newspapers all the time, when I was in the movies, and as I've written about extensively in my books, I was very, very promiscuous. Now, during that time of promiscuity, the relationships I had were absolutely always consensual. I was always transparent about that then, almost too transparent. And I'm being transparent about it now as well. And to see that transparency metastasized into something criminal that I absolutely deny makes me question, is there another agenda at play? Particularly when we've seen coordinated media attacks before, like with Joe Rogan, when he dared to take a medicine that the mainstream media didn't approve of. And we saw a spate of headlines from media outlets across the world using the same language. I'm aware that you guys have been saying in the comments for a while, watch out, Russell, they're coming for you, you're getting too close to the truth. Russel Brand did not kill himself. I know that a year ago there was a spate of articles, Russel Brand's a conspiracy theorist, Russel Brand's right wing. I'm aware of news media making phone calls, sending letters to people I know for ages and ages. It's been clear to me, or at least it feels to me, like there's a serious and concerted agenda to control these kind of spaces and these kind of voices. And I mean my voice along with your voice. I don't mind them using my books and my stand-up to talk about my promiscuous consensual conduct in the past. What I seriously refute are these very, very serious criminal allegations. Also, it's worth mentioning that there are witnesses whose evidence directly contradicts the narratives that these 2 mainstream media outlets are trying to construct, apparently in what seems to me to be a coordinated attack. Now, I don't want to get into this any further because of the serious nature of the allegations, but I feel like I'm being attacked, and plainly they are working very closely together. We are obviously going to look into this matter because it's very, very serious. In the meantime, I want you to stay close, stay awake, but more important than any of that, if you can, please stay free.
See, that right there, they don't want him to become the next Joe Rogan. Because remember, he used to be one of them. There's nothing worse to the lefties when you go from being a radical. Yeah, no. It started during the whole Russia thing about, what was it, 2 years ago, 24 months ago, when he started investigating it. It's like his eyes opened up. So now they want to bring him down. This is why I see what happened to him and now Tim Ballard 24 hours later, because he wants to run for Mitt Romney's position. Come on, Brand. I went and researched this past after. Again, once you go based, you never go back. This guy would say, hey, I did heroin on this day. I fucked 3 girls on this day. We did a Eiffel Tower. I mean, he'd shared everything.
Autograph her uterus and a wall of sperm. Yeah, I remember.
Pretty much.
Yeah, Andreas, what were you gonna say? I didn't even hear you.
Oh, I forget. I don't know. Just
I was trying to listen to George. So
no, because I think it's important.
To say, though.
Yeah, I think it's important.
I thought. I thought that Russel Brand was still, because like if you up until that, just now seeing that video is the first time I've ever considered that he might actually not be controlled opposition. Because I remember 20 years ago, Russel Brand, British TV and comedy and all this stuff, and yeah, he was so controlled, and he's like as you said, heroin addict who's now a Kundalini handler's. He's got a Kundalini handler take care of him all the time.
Winhoff. He works with Winhoff.
It's like the Crosby, Stills, Nash level of occultism, where you have the Illuminati has like a MK Ultra witch with you, is like that's next level because he's that, you know. So he just seems super dangerous, and he's made all of this, like he's made all of these claims about social progress, which is a very Tory stance, and a lot of England is very Tory. So it's like, is he really part of the people, or is he just arguing for the Labour Party?
I can answer your question, but it's when we're on Rumble, because he's made several videos, but there's one that I found which I posted on Twitter. I think Adam, you saw that. It was a day ago, where it's I think 30 seconds when he was on Bill Maher, and we can't share half of it.
I saw that.
Yeah, because right there, that was when he started. He was spitting out the receipts. He was like
bars.
And so he got everyone's attention. And now they don't want another Joe Rogan. They don't want anyone to get to a certain position. I'm really surprised that YouTube hasn't pulled him already.
Well, he's probably making money for them, right?
Did YouTube pull him?
Right?
No, I said I'm surprised. No.
He chose to go to Rumble because YouTube gave him a strike about 10 months ago, maybe. I don't remember, a year ago, sometime in the past year or two. And Rumble was like, hey, Russel Brand, and he was like, hell yeah. So now he does his live show over there and posts everything at Rumble, and then takes clips and puts them onto YouTube to maintain his, and he'll like make specific things specifically for YouTube, you know, like hello, he's got like 6.5 million followers or subscribers, so that's kind of huge. But I posted this today, and this tweet has actually gone pretty viral. It's got like 1.8 million impressions now. Just
damn, I never can hit 1 million.
So I posted this, and I've talked about this randomly on my show before, but I'm just going to read this because it ends up driving a point home that I think is what's going on. I said, my best friend in high school broke up with a girl a few months after dating. She was fairly unhinged about it, as she went to the authorities and claimed that he had raped her. He went to prison for 2 years. Damn. She later admitted in a therapy session that she felt an incredible amount of guilt for lying about it. He was released, and she went about her life with zero repercussion, probably feeling like she saved him. The point is, people lie to get what they want, especially the people in control of the narrative. I don't believe women when they simply claim rape. Now, I want to add, that's not to say that I don't believe evidence when I see it. Correct. Right? If it can be proven, and I think rape is horrible. I'm not defending rape at all. I just personally have someone that was really close to me be falsely accused and lose years of his life because of some jealous bitch that wanted to lie to get her way, to ruin a man. And women do this. I mean, look at Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Like, I'm not saying Johnny Depp was a saint. Like, he probably was an asshole.
Compared to Amber, he was.
Absolutely, sure. Amber was absolutely the abuser. I'm not saying that Johnny Depp was wrong. Or, you know, I just say, like, there's probably some points where I've just read some of his text message. Like, he said some fucked up shit about Amber, but like, she was very obviously the abuser in that situation. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Nobody
anyway,
takes a dump
also,
in a bed,
words are just words, right?
Yeah.
Like,
That's a good point.
You're allowed to vent. If all of my texts to all of my friends got broadcast to the world, I am fucking cooked.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Words,
because
freedom of speech, man.
I've been really mad. I've tweeted stuff that is hyperbole, and if that's just like,
but he's the one.
No, I saw it.
He's the one with the cut finger. He's the one with that was actually being
poop
hit
in the bed.
Poop,
getting
poop
shit
in the
upon.
bed.
That's abuse.
Yeah, the 2 a.m. poop in the bed. The surprise.
I still don't get that Elon Musk was dating her after all this happened, and I wondered, like, did he have any money into the court case for Depp, or was he on her side? Like, I still wonder.
Not what I'm focusing. All right, let me finish this though. All right, so I continue to say, not to mention the timing on this is of course suspect. Brand admittedly was a slut in his past. He owns it. Suddenly, Brand is making waves in disproving the narrative. COVID, Ukraine war, elections, and now they throw the rape book at him. Does anyone actually believe this? Now, this is actually, and I want to actually give a shout out to Anna. This is, I piggybacked off of that Star Wars girl's tweet, which was also going kind of viral today. And she wrote, so decades ago, a bunch of chicks willingly fooled around with a celebrity because he was a celebrity and they wanted their chance at fame. Now, decades later, they're playing the victims for another chance at fame while simultaneously being used as pawns by his enemies who are trying to desperately to destroy him. This isn't a mystery, folks. Open your eyes. I don't care if you like Russel Brand or not. It's very obvious what's going on. I swear common sense is dead. And I kind of agree with that. Like, look, I'm from the era of innocent until proven guilty. Like, if Russel Brand did this stuff and it comes out and it's proven, like, there's already these very doctored looking texts that people are sharing, but it's like that shit looks so fake, and like people are doing like, was this shit edited? And like the websites are saying that it definitely was. I
think what you wrote was profound.
Like, wouldn't they be blasting the police reports everywhere and like all this stuff? What did you say, George?
Police. No, I think what you wrote was profound. I love what you wrote because it addresses it directly. What my problem is, and I apply this to everyone. Look, rape is a horrible thing because you're taking away somebody's free will. You're violating that. But I have one major issue. Why was this not brought up during the height of the Me Too movement when they could capitalize on it the most? Wait 1 second. I always have an issue for two separate reasons. Whenever someone says they've been violated and then they come out 30 fucking years later.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
I agree.
If it really happened to you, whether you couldn't deal with it, you had a problem, it's done. You can't go later because you had a responsibility, to the community, because if that guy actually raped, well, you're allowing him to continue to rape. And two, there's no evidence. So the only thing you're doing is destroying someone. Yeah. And if they didn't do it, it's like, again, you're destroying someone. I don't buy that. So when I look at that situation, I obviously try to keep an unbiased point of view. I like Russel Brand. But if the facts come out that he did this, then I'm going to be, okay, prove it.
Yep.
And if he did it, then he's done. Proven, but with evidence, DNA. Yeah. Where is all that? All I saw was a clip from the BBC, it was, or Channel 4.
And I heard
showing the girl in the shadows. And I'm like, now you're coming out? Now. A year before the election.
I got to roll out, guys. I forgot it. I didn't realize it was 7.
Love you.
All right, Flood.
I love you guys. I'll catch you guys next week.
Dude, Flood,
I'll catch you sometime this week. Yeah.
We'll set this up and Adam will be there. Sounds like so cool. Sweet.
Yep.
All right, guys. Have a good time.
Peace out, guys. Love y'all.
Love you too, bud. All right. Now everyone's talking about one of the accusers that is saying that this allegedly happened with was 16, right? When Russel Brand was 32. Now, I personally think that's fucking disgusting. Russel Brand, I'm looking at you. Now, he talks about and owns that he was a debaucherous, disgusting human being. Like he owns it. And I agree. Now, I'm 39, but when I was 32, a 16-year-old, even like pretty much from the age of like, I don't know, when I was like my early 20s, like a 16-year-old, like just looks like a child to me. I don't like it. So that actually makes me incredibly uncomfortable. Like Russel Brand, there's no denying that. That's disgusting. He admits it. It's not like he's hiding.
In England. In England,
that's a separate issue, though. That's a legal issue, not a moral or.
I'm not getting to the legalities of it. I am just talking about the moralities of it. Like, and as I said, he owns the fact that he was a debaucherous leftist in the movie theaters, like in the movies, whatever. Like, you can imagine what other people in that industry do. If like that's what he did and he was open about it, like he said, he was too transparent about it. I think that's fucking gross. I think that's some pedo shit, and I don't like it at all. So like that already, I didn't know that about Russel Brand. I lost respect for Russel Brand, whether or not this rape shit is true. He fucked a 16-year-old and in his 30s. That's fucking gross. Russel Brand, shame on you. What the fuck, man?
That's legal in the UK.
I don't give a shit that the age of consent in Britain, in the UK, is 16. That doesn't mean I'm going to accept it. That ain't me, man. Now, fuck that. All right? I don't like it. But
the thing that bothered me, sorry.
Go ahead. You can respond.
The thing that bothered me the most, so like I've seen, like I had a girlfriend who was into Russell, like a Satanist I used to date, liked Russel Brand comedy like 15 years ago. So I'm familiar with him from the occult California, people thinking, oh, how cool it is if someone's transparent about what they're doing and all that thing.
Right.
But what bothers me is like his associations with people like Jimmy Savile. And when I was getting really interested in how the human trafficking.
The comedian?
The pedophile Jimmy Savile, who was eventually, after decades and decades of people suppressing the evidence that kids were molested when they're 40 years old, they're finally proving that, they were held down in hospital beds by this guy while he honked clown noises so no one could hear what they were doing, like horrible things.
Yeah, Savile is disgusting.
And you can find Russell Brand trying to get his assistant to go naked to see Jimmy Savile. Like there's all these, because he knew Jimmy Savile before he passed away too. So the fact that he's that connected to those people, now granted, like it's proximity, but it's a little weird, man. It's
I'm a little taken aback that this is like the 52nd time, a Satanist.
Well, again, it's California.
It's like, damn, how many Satanists are there out there?
But the thing is, they didn't seem so evil. They didn't seem so evil until like the Trump period, and all of a sudden they're like, there's people choosing.
You think there's not something in the name?
It's because they had to up the time frame of their movements, right? Because Trump basically shoved a huge wedge and monkey wrench in their plans, right? They're like, oh fuck, Hillary's not president. She was supposed to rein in everything. We were supposed to start dumping money into Ukraine years ago. Like shit. Now we got to change everything. And then people started right around the same time too. The internet we're really starting to get it into a shift into a higher gear when it comes to being on the internet, right? We were figuring it out. Now a lot more people are being fluent on the internet, being able to navigate and kind of see what's fake and what's not. Although there's a lot of people that are falling for some stupid shit on Twitter lately. It's fucking sad. Anyway,
like vegan cats.
Yeah, the vegan cat. You saw that Guardian article?
Scary.
No, what was this?
It's funny. I did a Guardian article segment last week because they're very easy to dunk on and make fun of. And it was basically like humans shouldn't have pets. And then this week they put out an article about how cats should be vegan. And I'm like, you just posted an article last week that humans shouldn't have pets, and now you're advocating for vegan cats? What the fuck is this? I probably just wanted people who have cats to kill their cats by.
They probably did
trying to force them
to
force them to be vegan. Cats can't be vegan. I don't know if you guys know that.
It's like babies can't. How many parents have had that trouble? They keep making the news, where they end up in front of a judge and they're like, because a doctor in an emergency room is like, your kid is starving to death. It's like 6 months old. We're giving him, only vegan, like they're giving grass milk. It's like, don't babies need to be breastfed for at least a year or two? I'll look up the story. It was from 2 years ago, but this mother was sitting there going, we want our child. And then it happened again when the kid hit 2 years old. They wouldn't feed any of, any meat, any protein. It was, again, like wheatgrass and soy. And anyway.
Well, anyway, I want to stay on Russell Brand. So
correct.
The media is now, I mean, holy shit, the amount of comments that people are fighting and arguing on my tweet that I was tweeting, because there's so many people that are for him, protecting him, so many people that are just simply thinking he's guilty and saying, yeah, we believe 100% of anyone that says anything. Any accuser should just instantly be believed, which is just insanity. Like,
and who aren't they talking about now? That's the thing. Russell's starting
to man, there's all sorts of shit that they're not talking about. They're not talking about Fauci basically admitting that a certain something. Fuck, I can't say it. We're on YouTube, but he quietly admitted last week that it does in fact cause a certain disease in your heart. Myocarditis. I didn't say anything else, so I'm just saying. But I mean, he admitted it. It's like, it's not a conspiracy theory anymore, but all the shits people don't even know about it because he just kind of said it. And now, Russell Brand, like, wow. And Boobert Gate. And it's like, do you realize that they're admitting that they knew this shit was going on, that it was going to kill people? Fuck, I'm going to get in trouble, aren't I?
Allegedly, maybe. That's what crazy people are saying on internet. That's what you were quoting.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
It's innocent until proven guilty. Let me see the evidence. You know what I mean? I haven't seen it yet. So
we're talking about Russel Brand still, right?
Right, but I still find it.
Katy Perry is the evidence to me. Again, like I saw too much like years ago. Like I can't now just trust that it's different.
What do you say?
When he was like with Katy Perry, dude, like she went from being like a fundamentalist Christian singer to like a coven cult witch who bought a nunnery convent.
I remember that.
And they married. You know, Russell Brand and her were married.
That was true.
Yeah.
The convent. She bought the convent.
Oh, it's
convent
so
that tried to
sad.
stop her died. Yeah, Andreas knows the story.
Yeah.
Tell me the story. I don't understand.
Well, you know, Catholic nunnery that was a really old nunnery, and they didn't have very many nuns left. There were like 27 nuns left, and they were trying to hold on to it. They're all in their 70s and 80s, and she went and was like, "I'm going to buy it," and then like went over their head to the church, and the church was going to sell it to them, and the girls are like, "No, don't sell our convent," and they took it to court, and they did everything they could. And they couldn't stop it. This is the long story short.
And
then the lady died of a heart attack in the process, and then that scared and then they're all just like, yeah, so they got kicked out of their convent so she could do, guess what, like Kundalini sex rituals and have vitamin bags, which are where they put the vitamin water and then they inject it in your arm and you just lie there in the sun while you get like vitamins. Yeah, so it was like it became like for her witch coven thing and Russel Brand, and then Russell Brand left her essentially because he was even more intense. And I don't know, we'll get into it. It's just super chatted.
I mean, that just makes me think, you know, you think about Hollywood and like Bohemian Grove and like this elite group that you think like Epstein's list, like most of the top celebrities on. I've seen some of the list, right? I don't know if it's all of the list or
probably not.
Probably not.
There's no way it's not. There's no way.
The people that I saw on that list, I was like, holy fuck, that's like all of Hollywood.
Yeah,
not 100%. Like great. I'm glad that I didn't see every actor. All right, I didn't see Denzel's.
I didn't see Johnny.
Denzel's cool.
I didn't see Johnny.
Didn't see Johnny. I didn't see. Yep.
Let's go, Johnny
or Denzel.
I didn't see Pauly Shore. I'm just saying, Rodney Dangerfield's clean still.
Well, who knows, right? But who knows? But like, I wouldn't be surprised if they all are like that. They all are like that. They all do these weird sex ritual.
Well, that's just Hollywood.
Parties.
What about England? England is like the Royal Magic Society.
Yeah,
the
or
Society,
freaking the government. You know, the people high up, right? Remember when what was his name? Madison Crawford. He was invited to some like sex party in Washington D.C. and he got there and he just saw a bunch of his constituents. Or no, his peers doing coke and like being debaucherous, and he was like, "What the fuck is this? I'm out of here!" And then they tried to freaking ruin him
because he wanted to expose it. But
yeah, exactly.
But also, you can tell the giveaway for me is the Tim Ballard thing. The very next day.
So explain this now. So I haven't seen this. I didn't.
Here, I'll share it.
Information.
Well, basically, happening is he announced over the weekend that he's looking at going for Mitt Romney's Senate seat in Utah. And 48 hours later, because supposedly Mitt's retiring.
Right, I saw that video.
Yes, because he's going to lose the election, his re-election, and he didn't want to be embarrassed again. So today,
so the thing is that 3 days ago, because when he announced this, Vice News, who by the way have only ever like if you look at Mormonism, anything that Vice has said about Mormonism is like I took acid, went to the temple, or like Mormon polygamist wives in their interviews. It's never good, right? So they say that like the Latter-day Saint Church released this message through Vice. Right. Which is impossible. There is no way.
I agree with Andreas. It would never work that way. Basically, what they're saying is Vice News has been attacking Operation Underground Railroad, specifically with Tim Ballard, for the last several years. For years. And it all started because they've used actors before. Like they've used Hollywood celebrities. I don't remember which ones. Like we're going to go do this operation in Colombia. We're going to go to Ecuador. And they'll use one of them to try to buy children. And one of the people that they used was a relative of a relative. And this woman then went to work for Vice and she wrote this lengthy report. And she's like, you know, all Tim Ballard does is do these operations not to save kids, but to blow up his own ego. And when he's successful, guess what? He still fails because he doesn't provide aftercare for the kids after they save. So no matter what he does, no matter how many children he saves, Vice will, I've made several videos on it. Vice will come back and we'll go, did you know that Tim Ballard saved 1,000 kids? But not once did he follow the Department of Health's guidelines for taking care of them afterwards, asking looking if they were trans, if they were gay and they needed a proper therapy. It's like he's saving them from slavery.
Right.
I just want to say I've met Tim Ballard. Adam, did you meet him when he was at Timcast as well? Have you met? I met Tim Ballard, and like he's, as far as I could tell, like a really solid dude, and not like anything like trying to aggrandize himself. And if you saw his like reaction this weekend, he was reduced to a 5-year-old, 8-year-old child, almost in tears.
Yeah, his video's online
because he was like freaking out. Like if the church because the other thing is they're saying that his church did this, right? It's not just like this Republican Party. Like if God himself told this man that he's going to hell, that's where he was at. If the Vice was right, and he's just like, they didn't tell me this, and he's like crying because he's like, all I'm trying to do is be, and you know. It's one thing for like a Hollywood, California kid to cry on a movie or something. For like a Utah kind of Republican Mormon dude, they like Deseret dudes. They don't cry. Okay, it was pretty real. It was I don't think he's ever trained to do that. It was pretty real, and it's just
Well, and basically, so what they're saying in this story is that people from underground. Operation Underground Railroad, they're saying the reason he left is because there were these rumors of sex scandals. It wasn't a rumor. There was a girl who had worked together with one of the reporters at Vice, who went and reported to Human Resources that she believes that he is somehow sexually grooming and sexually abusing some of these girls on the operations, where he say, I want you to act like my wife so we can convince these people, so we can buy the kids, so we can save them. And they're saying that he asked him, hey, you need to sleep in my room, so they can believe it. I'm like, well, you're under fucking cover.
Yeah.
Of course you're
going to have to he wears long johns all the time. He's a freaking Mormon. I don't think people understand how little that this guy's naked. It's not like ever, literally.
He showers with fucking like swim shorts on.
It's like never burger, you know? Yeah, it's like
boys, I gotta bounce. I got a meeting in 15 minutes, but it was great seeing you boys. And I will see you guys next Monday, homies.
See you soon.
Absolutely.
Love y'all, homies.
Always love you.
So love you, buddy. Okay, so
I find it odd that both happened over the weekend.
Well, I mean, this is what I said. You know, the timing is suspect. I mean, the amount of, if you look at, let me bring this up actually, because I found this quite interesting. You go to YouTube, right, and you go to Russel Brand's page. Let's see, Russel Brand. I'll just type Brand. I'm sure it'll come up. No, yeah, there it is. Okay, so you go to his page. Let me share this real quick. All right, you know, you got his stuff. You know, he's Tucker. Of course, they don't like Tucker, but you look at his last few videos, right? Of course, this is the video we watched earlier. Let's see. We got, hang on, 9/11 speech was a lie. All right, calling Biden out, calling Bill Gates for hiding. I actually don't know what that's
much
about.
Lower
but
views than before.
This is about the apple
we talked about 2 weeks ago.
The organic apple spray that is Bill Gates is putting on organic apples that you cannot wash off, by the way. And then Obama, calling out Obama, talking about Trump and vaccines, and then Hawaii victims. Like, he is just nonstop shitting all over the narrative. Whatever the narrative is, he is just taking, he's pulling amber turds all over these bitches, you know, just dropping nuke bombs on them. So like they can't stand that. And I don't know if you see, he's got 6.6 million subscribers. Like he's got reach. No, he's not Joe Rogan, but I don't know who said it earlier, but they want to prevent him from.
Yeah, I said they don't want him to be Joe Rogan because they see the power that Rogan has, and they're like, this guy is going full from LaSalle. You want to have another one?
And what does he know? Right? He was a leftist. He was in their circles. He was probably at their parties. He was saying he was being too transparent. Well, what if he can be even more transparent? Like what it's like they're like, we need to destroy him before he gets the idea to actually just fully I don't know, release his conscience, which might be, who knows what he witnessed, what he's seen. I mean, it seems like he's honest when he's saying everything that he's done is consensual. Now, sleeping with a 16-year-old is fucking disgusting. And as I said, my view on Russel Brand has already been shifted. Right? There's no kind of coming back from that, Russell. Sorry, that's That's fucking gross. And I'm not really going to care as much about his content because of that shit, right? He has great interviews. I like his style of interviewing and like the way that he talks about things. But I don't know. There's certain lines I don't cross. And
but the thing also about him like exposing people, so like, you know, you can think of the conspiracy of silence with the Lawrence King orphans. What was it? The you know, Boys Town. There's all these children that were molested, and a lot of them were molested by like governor figures, people that were very powerful in the United States at the time. And the kids went and they told, but they didn't have any footage or evidence. And because you're innocent until proven guilty, if especially with the elite having control over the court systems, they turned it around on the kids and they arrested them for libel or slander, for perjury, because they couldn't prove their testimonies. Like they're just telling you exactly what happened to them, but they were arrested for that. So I think that's a thing that is done more often than we realize. When you expose something, if you say you saw them, you know, and they can avoid getting in trouble for it, then they can turn that around on Russel Brand or anybody else, not just make you not popular in the media. They could literally arrest you, you know.
Right, but there's something that most of the media is missing, is the fact that the BBC, the time period that they're complaining about is the time period they had him under contract, and they kept renewing his contract. It's like, if you had these suspicions back then, why'd you keep renewing his contract?
Good point.
Like,
yeah, it's fine when they owned him is the point. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, probably because they were, I mean, this is what I think Epstein was. You know, he was the guy that would get dirt on everyone to be able to control everybody, right? That's why, I mean, that's why he killed himself.
That's also why they pick people to be famous, I think. It's because if there's a way that they can control them, then they'll let it happen.
Like, oh yeah, you can get famous because
you're drug addict.
When we want you to say something, you're gonna say something, or else we're gonna release this information, and the entire world is gonna come after you and destroy you, and you're gonna be ruined for the rest of your life. So yeah, do whatever we want you to do, and we'll be good. Yeah. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna just be paying attention to this. Obviously, it's a big thing in the space that I actually am a part of, because of, you know, I don't even know if he acts anymore. It seems like this podcast is what he does now fully. Weekdays on Rumble, you know, he does a podcast show. So I don't know. It's interesting. You know, innocent until proven guilty. I haven't seen anything yet that proves that he's guilty of any wrongdoings. As I said earlier, it's like in Britain, it's 16 is legal age of consent. So it doesn't seem like he's did anything illegal. I think that is absolutely.
Glad he wasn't in France.
So I have lost some respect for him, but
I think he actually did a comedy show Saturday night. I was reading in what was it, the
Russell
Daily Mail, and they said it was packed because it, you know, the stories were leaking all weekend that, you know, the Channel 4 and BBC, they're going to release this, and they're like, didn't impact him at all. People were.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I've seen a lot of conspiracies that are like, oh, he knew this day would come where he would be held accountable for his actions. So he spent the past 10 years building up a following of people that don't trust the media, so that when this day finally came, he would have a huge base of people that would defend him because they don't trust the media anyway. And it's like, no, look, I believe accusers like Tara Reid, right? Or Tara, I interviewed her on my show. She went to the police immediately. She nonstop has been trying to have Joe Biden held accountable because he held her against the wall and accosted her, and she documented everything she could. The people, like, if you look at the story and all the different people involved in that, it corroborates everything that she went through. So it's like, all right, that's enough evidence for me to think that actually happened, right? Joe Biden ignores it completely. So I'd like to see the evidence. Chrissy Mayer did a response on my tweet on my page, and it was simple and on point. She simply said, if I was raped by a celebrity, I wouldn't have waited 11 years to come forward.
That's why I say anything that comes out decades later, I'm like, just
11 years. Everyone's like, the trauma, and you should see the people that are arguing on her tweet, you know, the trauma or whatever. And it's like, why wouldn't you go to the authorities when you finally were able to, and not BBC, the journalists. Like, really? That, like,
yeah.
So
which
it's
still
just,
doesn't make
it's just a
sense.
character assassination.
Right,
You're not going to the police.
That's all.
So I don't know. We'll see. Or,
But he kept doing the thing, right? Like, if you watch his video, he's not quite, but he's kind of waving his hands around, but he's kind of doing the like.
He does that. Do you watch his content?
That's him. He doesn't. Andreas,
do you watch his content?
Yeah, a little bit, not all the time.
A little bit. I mean, he is very.
I used to watch a lot more, but
he does this a lot.
Yeah.
No, but I just mean like the Masonic, like the Masonic cry for help is where you put your hands like this and you bring them down like this, and you say, "Is there no help for the widow's son?" Right? And so it's the kind of thing where Russel Brand's always like, he's a big fan of the token. He loves the hand signals and tokens, and
it's probably ingrained in everyone who is in that system.
Yeah, it's true. To move that high up in the system, he must have.
And here I thought he was just doing jazz hands the whole time.
Yeah,
maybe.
Well, thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe and like the video if you like the video, and follow all the guys in the description below. I don't know how many people were here that joined us, but thanks for tuning in.
We love you all.
And follow.